Ever notice how often someone like throws out that don't fly too close to the sun line? It's like almost every time you go after something big, like the story of Icarus. It's wild how that myth just gets us, right?
Yes, totally. It's like it's ingrained in our DNA or something.
Right. So today we're doing a deep dive into the myth of Icarus, but going way deeper than just the surface level, And we've got some excerpts from this analysis called Icarus, The Price of Ambition, that are seriously insightful. Get ready for some aha moments because, trust me, there's more to this story than meets the eye.
Oh, absolutely. It really makes you think about ambition, what freedom really means, like some pretty big themes about what it means to be human.
Okay, so the source we're looking at, it starts by really drawing you into Icarus's world. Like, picture this. A bright, sunny island. You can practically feel the sun on your skin and the way the ocean just kind of melts into the sky. That's what this all goes down. And that's important, right? It's not just like a random setting.
Oh, yeah. No, the setting is huge here. It's like this island where the line between what you can and can't reach is kind of blurry. It's like a metaphor for, well, Icarus's ambition.
Yeah.
That boundless potential he has. Growing up surrounded by that, it had to have influenced him.
Like the island itself is whispering possibilities. And then on top of that, he feels trapped. Not just, stuck on the island by King Minos, but trapped in his own mind. The source talks about how he'd watched the birds, like fixated on how free they were.
And that's what's so cool. The source points that out about the birds because it makes you think, what does real freedom even mean? Not just for Icarus, but for us. For him, flight wasn't just like escaping the island. It was about breaking every single rule, the ones inside and the ones out there,
And then Daedalus, his dad, he shows him the wings. You can feel this tension in the source, this mix of hope and warning in Daedalus's voice as he's giving Icarus this incredible gift.
Right, because Daedalus knows what he's created. It's powerful, but it's also dangerous, especially for someone like Icarus who's, well, let's just say he's drawn to the unknown.
And they both see the wings so differently. Daedalus, it's a way out, a tool, right. But for Icarus, it's the answer. Like he's been waiting his whole life for this.
Total tool versus the dream situation. It makes you think, like, how often do we do that? Think something is going to be the answer when what we really want is way deeper.
Whoa, okay, yeah, I see that. But going back to Icarus, can we talk about that first flight? The source really gets into, like, how the whole world changes for him when he takes off. The ground is shrinking, the wind, it's a whole new reality up there.
Total perspective shift. That's the power of, like, finally doing something you thought you never could. Think about a time in your own life when that happened, maybe like a big career thing, or when something just clicked and you saw the world differently. That's what flight gave Icarus. It wasn't just being in the air, it was everything changing because of it.
And that's when the sun grabs him, that pull towards like the ultimate limit.
Yeah, and the source doesn't just say Icarus messed up because he was reckless. It's way deeper. It's this intense feeling of like becoming more than you thought possible. That's intoxicating, right?
Yeah, it's like he gets this taste of pure freedom, and it's like nothing else matters. There's even that part where he's thinking about how his dad is afraid of what he doesn't understand.
Which is so much about the limits people put on us, right? It's like those don't fly too high messages we get growing up. From our families, from society, heck, even from ourselves, they become these invisible barriers. But Icarus, at that moment, he's challenging all of that in a huge way.
And the higher he goes, literally, right? But also like metaphorically, all those limits, the island, and then the ones his dad represents, they don't matter anymore.
Totally. It's like the rules of the ground don't apply.
But that feeling, it doesn't last forever, does it? And the source, like you can tell, they put you right there with Icarus as it happens. The air getting thinner, that dawning realization, oh, duh, and then just falling.
It's rough, but it's that reality check. No matter how high you fly, gravity is going to be there. But here's the thing. The source doesn't dwell on Icarus dying. It's more about what he represents,
So true. So what does he represent then?
Yeah.
Ambition, freedom, pushing too far. What's the takeaway for us listening who, well, we're not making wings out of wax, right? What's the source saying about how this myth applies now?
Well, they make a big deal about a few things. That tension between wanting something so bad and listening to people who know better. We've all got those big dreams, but how often do they make us ignore, like, common sense or advice from people who've been there?
Right. It's like you get so excited about something, any little voice that might say, careful, you just tune it out.
Yeah.
Your own internal wax melting, huh?
Exactly. And that's part of what the source is getting at. Those huge GE dreams, the ones that tell you who you could be. Sometimes they trick you, right? Into not seeing how risky it is to chase them.
It's like the higher the stakes, The easier it is to ignore the warning signs.
Yeah.
Like you said, the what-ifs drown out the what-thens.
And this is a big one. The source talks about how sometimes you get what you thought you wanted, and it's not what you thought it'd be. Makes you think about how much effort we put into stuff, only to realize too late it was the wrong stuff all along.
Man, yeah. Like maybe the sun, that goal up close, it's not so great. It's like you build it up in your head,
Yeah.
what it'll be like at the top. And then you get there. It's not the same.
Exactly. And that's Icarus's story, right? Not just that he fell, but that maybe even touching the sun, it wouldn't have been what he really wanted. It's like the source is saying the good stuff, the real deal. It's in the trying. In those limits we always see as the enemy.
Like, what if Icarus had listened to his dad? What if he'd been a little more careful? Maybe he'd have found a different way to be free, a better way to enjoy the flight.
Right. The source makes you think about that. It's like, okay, what about us? What are we chasing? And are we missing the warning signs because of it?
Are we so busy going for the sun that we forget what makes our wings strong?
Yeah.
The relationships, the stuff we believe in. All that keeps us going even when we're aiming high. That's kind of powerful, huh?
It really is. Icarus's story, it never gets old. Being free isn't about just breaking every rule. It's about knowing why they're there, knowing which ones to keep, maybe even learning from them.
So whatever you're going after, whatever your sun is, remember him, right? It's good to be ambitious, but listen to that voice saying, hold on. Sometimes those limits, they're what makes you fly even higher in the end.
Couldn't say it better myself. Maybe even find a better way to fly along the way, right?
Love that. Well, that about wraps up this deep dive on Icarus. Thanks for being here, everyone. Until next time, keep asking the big questions. And remember, sometimes the best view isn't from reaching the sun, it's from enjoying the climb.